Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Delta Report on today, Sunday, November the 6th, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. Now, listen, the United States, used to be a industrialized nation of unprecedented proportions. We used to produce everything here from nuts and bolts to cogs to kind of like the China does now. Only more so. Automobile manufacturing, Detroit, Motor City. I'm going to tell you, the United States couldn't be beat. But we started to ship the factories overseas, cheaper labor, and industrialization started to diminish in the United States, and they started to rely on places like China for a lot of these products that are produced by industrialized countries. Well, Europe is has a lot of industry in Europe. And China still has a lot of industry, but one of the things that's happening in the world, and this is one of the things that's being a driver for currency devaluation and what your currency, how much you can buy with your currency, is all the countries of the Western world have never stopped creating currency. They can create as much as they want anytime they want just by pushing a button, and it's getting easier and easier now that they don't even have to print the stuff anymore. They can just create it digitally. And so picture they're being able to create endless amounts of something for free, and it's just absolutely as easy as pie to make it. And at the same time, it's getting more and more difficult to find countries that are industrialized to produce the things that you buy with that currency. Think everything from cogs or something that runs your vehicle, automobile parts, all the way up to things that you use to repair TV, everything you buy that's industrialized and factories produce. And we all know how food prices are going up because of shortages in things like fertilizer. Poor growing seasons are affecting that. So everything the consumer uses, from if you want to buy a new piece of furniture, all the way up to you need to get your car fixed, is getting more and more difficult to obtain, while at the same time you have food getting more and more difficult to obtain. And so the prices are going to go up on all this stuff in relationship to the currencies that can be just created willy-nilly through the print press, through thin air, through just pushing a button on a computer and typing in a bunch of numbers or digits. This is how they make what we call money. So let's get in there and take a look at some of this stuff. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look what we're seeing here in Europe. Europe may see forced deindustrialization as a result of the energy crisis. The European Union has been quietly celebrating consistent decline in gas and electric consumption this year amid record-breaking prices, a cutoff of as much as the Russian gas supply and a liquidity crisis in the energy market. So we're going to see this continue. This is a process that's happening in China as well. And if that wasn't enough, they have a zero COVID policy, which is also affecting the Chinese production of goods that they. I mean, you as a consumer, you go home and you say, okay, I need a new vacuum cleaner. Or I need something. I need this or I need that. Where does it come from? All of us as consumers, we almost treat it like it comes from the tooth fairy or something, but it doesn't. It's produced in a factory someplace. And now what's happening is it costs a lot more for energy to produce all these items that we use on an everyday basis. Of course, the cost is going to go up, and this is going to relate to inflation. And The consumer can only afford so much. And basically what it's doing is it's helping to make us poor. And we're only going to be pushed so far. As people, we're only going to be pushed so far before we say, hey, you know what? We can't afford. I can't afford a new vacuum cleaner for my floor. My old one's broken. How am I going to clean my carpet? But that's the tip of the iceberg, because it's also going to be, how am I going to afford to buy some food from my fridge? And the first thing we're going to see is we're going to see other people out there. We're going to look out in the street and we're going to see other people out there with placards and signs marching up and down the street because of the same issue. Their lives are just been turned upside down because they've lost their job. They can't afford to buy food for their kids. And now you sit there and you're sitting there and I can't afford a vacuum cleaner to clean my rug. I can't afford any food in my fridge. I'm hungry and my wallet's empty. And it's just going to be pushed. People are just going to be pushed so far in the end. They're going to say, hey, I'm in the same boat as those people out there with the placards and stuff. And I'm thinking, they think, they think, hey, and next thing you know, they're all out in the street. Now, here's the thing, guys. The 51% rule. Right now, it's only a minority of the population that's experiencing these problems. And we're going through this in real time right now, where we're seeing these jobs leave, the deindustrialization, and it's just a matter of time until this gets a lot worse, and we do see people in the streets. So what happens then? Because this is a worldwide phenomenon. This could get out of control. And we're also going to see at the same time the dollar and the other fiat currencies, include, I don't care what country you're in. If you're in Japan, you got the yen. If you're over in China, you got the yuan. If you're in Canada, you got the Canadian dollar. You could have the Swiss franc. You could be over there in England and have the British pound right now. But you're going to see your pounds buy less and less and less, to the point where any wealth effect that you had, or anything that you had that you thought you had, is going to be gone. And people, when they get really upset and everything's gone and taking their lives are turned upside down, they start to look for somebody to blame. Why is this happening to me? I didn't do anything wrong. And no, you didn't. It's because of who you elected in office. And nowadays, with the inconsistencies and everything, that's even a question mark. And I mean, the whole thing is just like, people are going to be looking for somebody to blame for all these things, these problems that we're having, that are heaped on us all of a sudden, because all our lives, we've went along and drifting along. Things have been pretty stable, and I mean, we've always, if our vacuum cleaner broke, we've always had the wherewithal to be able to go out and buy a new vacuum cleaner. And now all of a sudden, I mean, maybe I'm focusing on the issue of the vacuum cleaner. A lot of people say, well, that's not important. Yes, it is important, because it's like the same thing. It might be a television with you. It might be your TV breaks and you want to watch TV and you can't buy a TV. It's all the way around. It's a breakdown of this society, where anything that you might not be able to do, it might not even be able to replace your toilet. Then what are you going to do? You might not have any water to drink. Then what are you going to do? You see, it's all the way across the board. The society is going to fail at a certain point, fail to provide for all of us, and the price is going to become too high to provide for all of us. So then what are we going to do? We just, all of us just going to sit there and say, oh, or are we going to do something about it? Well, that choice, I cannot tell you what's going to happen. I don't know for absolute certain. Maybe mankind will just sit there and in their chair, or maybe they won't even have a chair to sit in anymore. And maybe they'll just expire. because they figure they can't do anything about it, and they'll just let all of these big shots out there just take everything that they got, and they'll just sit there and expire and let it all go, and just including their life. Or maybe they'll get up and do something about it. I just don't know. But I'm saying the most likely outcome is that they're not going to all just sit there and just let it all go and let it all slide. That they're going to sit there and say, "Hey, I've had enough. I ain't can take this any longer. They're squeezing me too damn tight." I think that's what's going to happen. I'm just betting on that. That's what's going to happen. Listen, boy, that's interesting. You see that thing he's got there in the corner there in the ad? That thing could produce power, let me tell you. And it wouldn't take much wind to spin it. Now, see, we need people like that can get out there and say, "Hey, you know what? I can produce a machine that instead of like the traditional windmill that goes way up in the air, and takes a 40-mile-an-hour wind to spin it, I can produce a machine that only takes a 2-mile-an-hour breeze to spin it and produce power." Innovation. That is a big helper, in society. Innovation and technology is a huge helper for the problems that we're creating right now. But it's not coming fast enough. The world is going to disintegrate before it can get here. And you can't move too quickly, try to move too quickly into this if it's not ready yet. It's kind of like, you go to cook an egg, or cook a pancake, and it's only half cooked, and your wife, she slides the thing, the flipper underneath it, and she says, "Oh, you got to go now. Okay, you eat it now." And it's only half cooked, and she doesn't even flip it. She just slides the thing under with it all gooey on one side and flops it into your plate, and she says, "Now you eat it." Well, if you just waited a little bit longer and cooked it a little bit more on both sides, you'd have a nice pancake. But no, now it just goes plop into your plate, and she plops it face down in your plate, and a big gob of the goo flies up and lands on your shirt and runs down your shirt. And you look at the thing and you say, "I can't eat that. It's all dough. It's all sloppy. It hasn't been cooked." Well, that's the way with technology out there. If you do not perfect it and you push it out there too quick, and this, you can't transform overnight. It takes time. A slow transformation in technology is needed. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Thank you guys for listening to my show here on the Delta Report. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.